That sucked. That sucked big time. So I'm on my own this morning, and it's going to be a bit of a corrective day. Why is it going to be a corrective day? Well, we fluffed up. Actually, to be fair, I fluffed up. This is a high-speed steel drill bit. These are not indestructible. They are meant for going through metal on a flat surface, and if you've spent more than 5 seconds working on a van, you'll realise nothing is a flat surface in a van. So when we were putting the Maxxair Fan on the other day, I was drilling into the side of a rib, and yesterday this happened.
This one on a proper angle, so just be careful.
Don't be like me. Don't think that when looking at people doing it on YouTube and on Instagram that you're not going to repeat their mistakes, because most likely you're going to be under stress and you're going to do it, you're going to make a mistake. So now I'm back here with a set of drill bits that are too big or too small, and no way of drilling in or waterproofing the rest of the Maxxair Fan that we now have on the roof. So what I've had to do is order a load of drill bits off of Amazon next day so that we can get this waterproof, because although we've been going through a heat wave and a drought, it is due to rain, and it's due to rain a lot soon. So I want to get this waterproofed. So what I've done, for safety's sake, I have bought 10 drill bits. And essentially, if I snap one, it doesn't matter because I've got 9 more. I've learnt my lesson. Always have more drill bits. So all I'm doing today is finishing up the job when the drill bit snapped. So I've got a load of spare drill bits. I need a drill. Where's a drill? Freshly charged drill and driver. I need a bit of SikaFlex and a caulking gun. And obviously, if you're using SikaFlex, blue roll, because I'm just a bit messy. And the only thing after that will be the right screws. Now, something to say about that. With every Maxxfan, you get these. It's assorted screws, spade connectors, etc, etc. The dome head screws that you get are quite short. Now, in comparison, the ones that we have got are significantly larger. Now the reason for that is because you need to build a frame, obviously, stick the wooden frame underneath. Depending on the thickness, I want to have more bite. It's not absolutely essential, but if I go under a low-hanging tree or something like that, I don't want it ripping out of the wood. So I've got some screws that actually fit. So I'll be using these instead of these. I have 2 screws holding this entire thing in. And I've already got the self-amalgamating putty down, or the mastic strip down. And over here is where I drilled, and you can see how, because it's not only on this edge but it's also on this down edge here, it's really dodgy, and I was going as light as I could, but unfortunately it wasn't light enough and I snapped the drill bit in there. So that is essentially, thankfully, not all the way through the van, so no water could have got through there, but it was still frustrating because I had no other drill bit to be able to finish these parts off, and we had to put the Maxxair Fan on. So now I'm going to have to lift this up, take the screws out that retain it, take this whole unit off, and then continue, because I can't really fit my drill bit in there without going in sideways, which I don't want to do. So yeah, on to that.
today we are putting the roof racks on so that we can put the solar panels up. So first you've got to remove, I don't know what these called.
Roof plugs.
The little knobbly bits
Roof
in the
rack
roof.
rail plugs.
The bits that we were going to put the bolts in for the roof rack. So we're going to use a heat gun because it is really difficult to try and get them up. I'm sure that if it took you multiple hours and you weren't as clumsy as me and damaged the van, then you would probably be able to get there, but we have a heat gun. So what we're going to do is use a heat gun just to go over it and warm up the glue, melt the glue, and then we can use just a trim tool to be able to pull them up.
So for our build, rather than going down the roof rack, whether it's modular or fixed route, we have decided to go for Unistrut channels. And with that, you obviously have to bolt through the roof and into the sort of rear cab. And what we've done is we have gone through with an M6, if you want to know what size the holes are. They are M6 bolts. We've got an M6 bolt with a spreader plate here because obviously this is quite thin. So we're going to spreader plate, spreads the load and prevents it from tearing out if we were to, I don't know, drag on a branch or something. So just here we have then got a normal M6 hex nut. I would have liked to have been able to use a nylock nut here first and do away with the need for a second. However, I got the wrong size. And as is everything, you then are stuck with holes in the roof, so we had to get them on somehow. So we ended up having to put a normal nut there, and when the nylock nuts arrived, follow them up with a nylock nut instead. So that's all I've done, just basically doubled up. And that way, with the rattling of the van, it's going to prevent this from coming loose, and it's also going to prevent, if something were to catch on the Unistrut channel, going to prevent it from ripping away. So today we got the rather daunting task of cutting a massive hole in our roof. It is going to be scary today. So we have made a frame for the underside of the Maxxair Fan. We've got the 40 by 40 one, so the internal diameter of this is just over 40 by 40, so that it slots in nicely. We have stenciled out the inside diameter of this frame and marked it on the ceiling just in dry wipe. So all we did, we made the frame. I've marked a centre point here and here, which is the centre point of these 2 points. And then where the sort of ridges are in the van, this one is the centre one. And just on these ribs are 2 little holes. So if you mark up your frame and then just line up that centre mark with these 2 holes, then you know you're going to be dead centre. And that's where we just did it with dry wipe so that we can rub it off if we got it wrong. Remeasured, and now we're going to go onto the roof. So one of the things I forgot to mention that we were going to use is this tool. This tool is, can't quite remember what it's called, either a hole punch tool or a punch down tool. What this does is it actually helps you drill a pilot hole on sheet metal, on painted sheet metal. Because it's so smooth, what ends up happening is your drill bit slips like that and you end up slipping around. If you've got a smooth piece of metal, then what you do is you find wherever it is you want to drill, you push down on this and it'll essentially click halfway down and force the pin into the metal, and now you've got a starting place like this. And now you've got a starting point so that it doesn't slip around. I can move that left and right now and it won't slip. So here's an example of us using the punch tool in the sheet metal. You push in and then it leaves a hole, and then when you go up onto the roof, because of the force, you'll actually see almost like a slight dent in the roof, but we're going to be cutting that out anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we've come up onto the roof. We've used that punch down tool. You're probably not going to see exactly on camera, but it's actually broken the paint just here, which is a good thing. And what we want to do then is essentially just mark the top of that, and that's where, without having to drill a pilot hole, that is where the punch down is. But we can do that for the four corners, and the good thing is we can see that it fits within our markings, so we're not going to hit a rib, which is all good. So we'll start to cut. Right, that is it. The Unistrut roof rails are on, the solar panels are on, the two Maxxfans are on, everything is sealed, everything is bolted down. It is just gone 10 o'clock and I am shattered towards the end. I could literally hardly see anything out there. So on to the next bit. But I'm going to bed.